to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Radio Show, only on Financial News and Talk. Now live in studio, your host, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit from current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message. I do deliver that every day. We have a very focused show. We only chat about items that affect the roof over your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. But before we get into our intriguing content today, please join me and welcome our featured guest today. First timer on Ron Siegel Radio, Joe Ingram is in the house. Welcome, Joe.
Thank you so much. This is where I say long-time listener, first-time caller.
Oh, yes. There you go. Okay. But you're not calling. So
I know.
So I guess that doesn't work. That's close enough. Let me remind you, if you ever have any more finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you. And you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are no operators standing by. I am it.
Quiet, numbskulls. I'm broadcasting.
While I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan or plan to save you money, I personally work with you. Even if you don't have any needs today, save this number in your phone for future reference. 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Yes, of course, we are celebrating today. We celebrate every day on Ron Siegel Radio. We have to see if Miss Christie is there to help us with our celebration. So we look at them today. We've got 4 options. We will figure out which is the best. National Pancake Day. I don't know about that one. National Girl Scout Day. We did Girl Scout cookies last week or the week before, so we're not going to deal with that one. National Plant a Flower Day. Okay, so I think it's going to, for those of us that have beaten anorexia, we're going to look at 2 options. National Baked Scallops Day. That one sounds good. National Pancake Day. I think I'll go with the baked scallops. That one just seems to hit. I don't know about the IHOP Day. Anything I say can only get me in. Oh, Christy likes IHOP. Okay. So we got one for IHOP and one for baked scallops. Let's check out what the markets are doing. The markets have been, we've still got the same issue going on. Holy cow, we're watching the Dow Jones Industrial Average down 74 points. Probably, and I haven't looked at it in the last 15 minutes, but the majority of the Dow Jones drop so far this week, that would be yesterday and today, has been attributed to, I guess I shouldn't say that because it is a little bit morbid when you say that the drop for both days has been because of Boeing aircraft. That is very, very, very bad there. But Boeing is down 26 points right now. Their pricing figure that's worth about 100 points on the Dow Jones. So the Dow is down 67. That means we'd be up right now if it was not for that influence of Boeing aircraft. The S&P 500, that is up 1166. Oil up 42 cents a barrel. We're not going to look at the oil prices or gas prices, especially being that we have to deal with Taxifornia. I get ill every time I look at gas prices in Taxifornia. 10-year Treasury down just a little bit, the yield on that. So our retirees, 2.63 roughly is the 10-year Treasury. So we're going to be watching all of that for you. We'll talk more about that bond market when we get into the Mortgage Minute a little bit later on. Daily briefing, it is that time. Yes, President Trump delivered his, I don't know why they call this a budget. The president delivered his budget to Congress yesterday. It's a little bit late. It's supposed to be done early February. But nobody ever votes for a president's budget. I know it's Congress, and they don't vote for anything that the out party has to do. But Under the Obama administration, he didn't get the Democrats to vote for his budgets. He didn't get the Republicans to vote for his budgets. President Trump sent his budget over to Congress. They're not going to approve his budget no more than they did President Obama's budget. So neither way is that going to happen. But let's take a look at a couple of things. Obviously, $8.6 billion for the border wall. I like the title of it, A Budget for a Better America, Promises Kept, Taxpayers First. How do you have a budget that has $1 trillion over budget and says taxpayers first? I guess it's because you want the taxpayers firstborn or something like that. I don't know. But apparently they just want everything that the taxpayers have. Pelosi, Schumer, they said that the budget is dead on arrival. If you've watched what Pelosi and Schumer are doing lately, they both look like they're dead. The way they walk, the way they move, the way they talk. Just a thought right there. Amazing. Moving right along. The Democrat Party, it is pretty fascinating to watch. As a conservative, I know I've got some liberal friends watching us right now, but watching what's going on, Nancy Pelosi had a very, very strong hold on the Democrat Party in the last Congress. Well, you got some renegades out there right now. Joe, you'd be doing really well in politics right now. You and I together, renegades of the world, right? I mean, regardless of where you stand politically, they've got some real renegades. If you watch what's going on with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, she's the gift that continues giving. Apparently, she does not watch TV. And I guess the social media is not showing her what's going on in Venezuela right now because she is trying to see if she can convert the United States into Venezuela. Did you listen to some of her commentary? Capitalism is about making 90% of the people equal and 10% of the people ultra wealthy. No, I think that might be socialism. Think about what's going on in Venezuela right now. 10% of the people are eating, 90% of the people are not. 10% of the people have generators for electricity, 90% of the people are in the dark. Think about that. It's just fascinating watching. And the media coverage that she gets, just amazing. Bar waitress one week and leader of the Democrat Party the next week. I won't say anything there.
I got a bad feeling about this.
Bernie Sanders' radical ideas now define the Democrat campaigns. In his first trip to New Hampshire this past Sunday, the Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders said his ideas that seemed radical and extreme 4 years ago are now helping define Democrat campaigns across the country. He did not say they are not radical and extreme today as well. Just throwing that out there. Those ideas that we talked about when I came here to New Hampshire 4 years ago, ideas that seemed so radical at the time, well, today virtually all of those ideas are supported by a majority of the American people. I guess Bernie doesn't talk to too many people.
Majority of the people in the room I'm in.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Joe Biden, Bernie Sanders, I think this is fascinating. The leaders of the Democrat group for president right now. So you've got people that have announced that they're running. Elizabeth Warren, Kamala Harris, Beto O'Rourke, Amy Klobuchar, Cory Booker. They've all announced their campaigns for president. The leaders, Joe Biden, who has not announced, and Bernie Sanders, who's not a Democrat. Think about that one. It's surprise. Amazing. Moving right along, look at the poll. Another poll out there. This generation of young Americans has a more positive view of the word socialism than previous generations, and along with millennials, are more likely to embrace socialistic policies and principles than past generations, according to a new Harris poll that is out. Think about that one. That's a fascinating story to me as well. I wonder if they get an A. You know, I always wanted to do this. Go to the guy in my college classes that got the A and tell him, you know something, you've got more points than I do. Give me some of them, would you? Now that way I'm not going to say what my grades were, just like President Obama. Moving right along. Jeff Zucker, you gotta love this one. CNN President Jeff Zucker delivered a keynote speech at the South by Southwest Festival Saturday in Texas and latched onto a recent New Yorker article. Now you got CNN and New Yorker in the same article, talking about Fox News, which is the number one cable news station in America. Now, whether you like them or not, I don't care about that issue. Just by ratings, they're the number one news station in America. So CNN, does anybody watch CNN anymore? No, I don't think so. But Zucker criticized the relationship between the Trump administration and Fox News, calling the network a propaganda network. Now, CNN is calling somebody a propaganda network?
So I know whose ass to kick.
Yeah, it just amazes me that CNN could do that. I mean, for many years we referred to it as the Clinton News Network until we started realizing more about the network, and now it's just the Cannabis News Network, and nobody's watching it either way. It's amazing to me. Of course, you could watch MSNBC Hee-Haw as well. I don't know, but it is fascinating. We did see that poll, Columbia University, 26% of Democrats believe the media. 26%. I think I understand which 26% they are. Yes, indeed. And we've got 5% of the Republicans believe the media. The only bad thing I see about that entire poll, I'm part of the media. I don't know what to do about it, but you are listening to... Oh, I know it is.
Nothing like a little air superiority.
Yeah, that's where it is. We knew it was coming. We're going to get into some great content today, and Joe's going to be here as well. We're going to talk... had to throw that in there for you.
I'll try not to drag down the show as I do.
For those of you that are regulars with Ron Siegel Radio, Joe and Bill Janishak and I, we do tend to cause a little problem, only when we're in a room together. But what is, let's see what we got on the calendar today. Learning how to convert virtual to real sales. I like real money rather than virtual money. So we're going to talk to Joe Ingram about that. Is carrying credit card balances a good strategy to increase your credit score? We'll talk about that one as well. We've chatted about that a little bit on past broadcasts. And what's going on with real estate bidding wars? All that and more. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Connect with us, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, on Twitter @Ron Siegel. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, you know what's coming. Shame on you, but the replay will be available. Ron Siegel 1. Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We will be back in just a few.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Did you know that banks and credit bureaus are rewarded financially if you have bad credit? And the worse your credit score is, the more money they can make off of you? How does that make you feel, knowing that banks are getting rich off of your hard-earned money? How does it make you feel, knowing that if a bank or a credit bureau makes a mistake on your credit report, they benefit from it and it hurts you? The Fair Credit Report Act of 1971 requires banks and credit bureaus to report only accurate information, and nearly 100% of all credit reports are inaccurate. If you're sick and tired of being broke and tired of being robbed by the banks, you owe it to yourself and to your family to call Rondi. Rondi is a FICO certified credit professional and has helped thousands of people just like you get out of debt and establish great credit. Rondi's number is 855-608-1990. Again, that's 855-608-1990. Or visit creditsanitizer.com.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 01869. 9452.
Are you a veteran, police officer, firefighter, doctor, nurse, or teacher? If so, you qualify as one of Ron Siegel's VIP heroes, and we have rewards up to $5,000 or $10,000 when you buy, sell, or refinance a home with one of the Ron Siegel radio partners. As one of the heroes, real estate agents will rebate part of their commission, lending partners will give a credit at closing, the title company has special published rates, and many other service providers have incentives too. All you need to do is call Ron Siegel Radio at 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit VIPHeroProgram.com. Just think about what you will do with all the rebates and incentives from the partners of Ron Siegel Radio. Just call us at 800-306-1990 so we can show you our appreciation for your service.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message. I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. In the Mortgage Minute today, being brought to you by our friends at Gold Star Mortgage. When you're ready for that next mortgage, Gold Star has the programs, the products for you. Gold Star Mortgage, the only one with the Fast Pass loan approval. They're the only one I know of with that Fast Pass loan approval, saving you $10,000 to $50,000 potentially on the purchase of your new home. What is happening in the markets today? So we are watching, again, the Dow Jones Industrial Average being dragged down by Boeing aircraft. Now, I'm not a stock picker any longer. I do for my own account, but I don't have the license to tell you what to do. But Boeing aircraft down 26 points as I speak to you right now, $373 a share. Looking mighty attractive, and it is covering more than the entire Dow Jones down. Dow Jones is down 71 points. Boeing accounts for 120 of those. So the market would be up. The S&P 500 is up 12 points as we speak right now. Looking at the important area for the mortgage market, the 10-year Treasury, 2.63 is the yield there. That's down just a fraction. But for those of you thinking about a new house, the mortgage-backed securities up 11 basis points, which means interest rates are down. Now, here's the important part, because I've shared this with you on a regular basis. Those of you that are regulars with Ron Siegel Radio know this. Everything I just told you, you could find that on Google.com. That's really a secret website. Every once in a while, I share my secrets as to where I get some of this data. So Google.com would have all of that. You may have to look to find out about that information about Boeing that I just shared with you. So let's talk about this. The more important issue, or the thing that you need to really listen to Ron Siegel Radio about, is why are these things happening? What is causing the markets to move the way they're moving? Well, I've told you some of the technical issues. A lot of people don't like technicals. They don't understand the technicals. Most people are not as nerdy as me, and they don't want to understand the technicals. As Ron, just tell us what's going on, would you? Well, the CPI index measures inflation on the consumer level, showed that overall inflation moderated in February. On a year-over-year basis, inflation dropped from 1.6 to 1.5%. Almost all of that is due to oil prices declining. The core rate, which strips out food and energy, dropped from 2.2 to 2.1%. All of that really is telling you that not a lot of inflation in the marketplace. The Federal Reserve will probably stay on the sidelines. If you're thinking about housing, this is a number that most folks are not going to be talking about. They're not going to be listening to. Our foreclosure rate, according to CoreLogic, is now down to about 1 in every 400 homes is in foreclosure right now. But here's the number that, again, most folks are not going to be talking about. Rental rates, the rent prices went up again. So we were at 3.4% rent increases. Now we're at 3.6%. Doesn't sound like a lot, but that's about an 8% increase over what the numbers were previously. So just think about that. That is the Mortgage Minute, again, brought to you by our friends at Gold Star Mortgage. So let's chat today. We're going to be learning with Joe is our topic today. Joe Ingram, Ingram Interactive. They call him the sales genius. Does
I call myself the
I was gonna
sales
say,
genius.
is there anybody outside your shower that calls
Yes,
you that?
no.
Just checking on that one. So tell us a little bit about Ingram Interactive. What do you do, Joe?
Okay, what I do is I help individuals, companies themselves go in and convert a virtual prospect into a paying customer.
How could you be a virtual prospect? Either you're a prospect or is that like virtual reality? I got the
headsets.
The headsets, and you've got that real voluptuous blonde there.
Right.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yes,
You're trying to get
the lady in red in Matrix.
Exactly.
Yes, that's what we created. So what I'm talking about is the customer that isn't actually sitting in front of you. Okay, so I consider a virtual prospect to be somebody who is reaching out through the safety of their phone or email.
Okay.
So it's somebody that's hiding behind the fact that I don't want to actually come in and speak with you, because then I might actually have to like you and actually buy from you.
Okay, so you're basically trying to get that person that says, "Hey, I don't want to talk to you. I want my information, but I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to hear from you. I've got this block wall in front of me."
Absolutely.
And your focus is on helping businesses break that block wall down.
Yes, easy for
Easy
you to
for me to say,
yeah,
right?
exactly. So my thing is more of how do I engage the person in the medium they started with, and how do we get them using the right words, right terminology, right tactics to get them to engage with you on the next level, so they can actually come in and actually make a purchase from you, which is what a concept.
How you make money.
Yes, I like cash exchanging hands, right? Transferring bank accounts. I'm okay with virtual money. I don't know what carrying cash is like anymore. So,
but you made a comment there, Joe, that I want to touch on, because it's something that I find a lot of times that I hear about, and you kind of said it in passing, but I want to really put an exclamation point on it.
Brilliant accidentally.
Right,
so
exactly.
I'm sure that's what it was.
There you go.
Yeah.
So you made a comment that talk to the people in the medium that they initiated the conversation.
Correct.
So, everyone said you got to get them on the phone.
Yeah, but why would you, if somebody reaches out to you via email and doesn't give you a phone, then you're going to have to in some way build trust and rapport.
Right.
I think every buying cycle, no matter how many steps people have, I go into companies and I say, well, how many steps are in your sales process? They're like, we have 8. We have an 8-step sales process. Oh, we have a 10-step sales process. And I'm like, great, don't go 12. That's a recovery program. Okay, so I need you to keep the number of steps down as often as possible. But I break everything down and say, look, there's 4 steps that has to go through. The first step is going to be like.
Okay.
Then if they like you, they'll listen, which is step 2. Then there's believe, because I've listened to you, and then I can buy from you.
Okay.
So it's not rocket science, but if you have a 10-step program, those 10 steps will fit in there saying, how do you do this? But the most important part is the like.
Sure.
Right? Because if they like me, they just may listen to me. If they listen to me, then they can believe me. And if they believe me, they can now purchase from me.
It sounds like you have to do them in that order, too.
Absolutely.
Right? Because, if they don't believe you, and if they don't listen to you, then how are they going to ever believe you?
Exactly. And this is where, a lot of times when, like a lot of my business focus is on automotive sector. So I do automotive, I'll do real estate, mortgage companies, MLM companies. I actually do Dr. Bill's chiropractor office. Okay. Because why? People are calling or responding to Facebook ads and things like that on a special. And so I can go into a company, sit down with the people that are working, and like I have an angel of an employee that used to work for me named Vicky. And I would put down a script.
Is it a real employee or virtual?
Real person.
Just
yes,
checking.
I've actually physically seen her. Yeah. I hired her at one point at a software company that we were working at, and then all of a sudden, right, I put out a script for 10 people. And I'm like, here's a script of how we're going to get these people from the phone into a face-to-face appointment. This is what we're going to do. And Vicky would come up and sit down with me and go, I can't say this. This isn't me. I don't know what's wrong with it. And so my answer was, okay, well, let's sit down and I'll write the script with my knowledge base, with my wording, but I'll write it in Vicky.
Okay.
And so I would sit down. So over at Dr. Bill's office, he was having mediocre success on running Facebook ads and getting them to convert to live people sitting in his office, right? Because virtual adjustments don't work.
That's kind of hard.
Yeah. Lay down on a towel and now twist yourself this way. Yeah. And so, but when I went into the office, I sat down and said, okay, let's start doing this. Let's figure out what we're doing. And as I talked with the office staff and went over it more, I was able to put together an actual script that truly wasn't a script per se.
That was what I was going to ask you, is what happens if the consumer goes off script?
Yeah, well, what we do is we text them a copy of our script,
Oh, okay,
and we
so
say,
then
could you please...
Okay, respond this way,
Could
please.
you come back and stay on the script? It's much easier.
Exactly.
The phone call will be much faster if you don't do this, right? In the automotive space, we say, if you pay sticker, it's quicker.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
There
Because
you
we'll
go.
get you right through on that one. But, yeah, so what I look at is so many people are bogged down by trying to convert somebody into a different medium, and the answer is build the like part,
Okay.
right, and the listen part in the medium in which they reached out to you.
So you can continue having that conversation through, say it's by text message. You can keep having that conversation by text message, but how do you know when you convert to the next step to actually see that face to face?
So understanding text message is one of my favorite ways to communicate with somebody. Okay, and a lot of times you'll find nowadays people are more apt to give you their phone number because my cell phone is the easiest way for me to screen you.
There you go, okay.
Right? Because I know that with before we used to have to listen to the phone and wait for the voicemail machine.
Exactly.
Right? Back in my day when, we had our dinosaurs we rode around on.
Those telexes came in?
Yeah. And so when you sat at your house just hovering over the answering machine waiting to hear whoever it was to see if you're going to pick up the phone.
I thought I was the only one that did that.
Yeah. Well, when both people called me, it was pretty, I just didn't know which one it was.
Okay.
But looking at it, right, I need them to... The easiest way for me to screen anybody, like when you call me, I never answer.
Exactly.
Right? I can just send you off to voicemail. But text messages, 93% of all text messages.
Now I know why I feel so rejected.
Yes. And it's an easy rejection.
Exactly.
Yeah. So 93% of all text messages are read within 5 minutes.
93%.
93%. So that means what? If I want to get a message to somebody, text message is great. The problem is we jump in and call the person because they replied to a text. And
that's fascinating.
That's the invasion of privacy that's there. Think about this. When all of a sudden you turn around and say, I'm going to call you, so I just jumped mediums from text message to real live voice. Think of how disruptive a phone call is to your day.
Right.
Okay.
And I have to be in the right area to catch that. I mean, if I can respond to you while I'm on air on a text message.
Absolutely.
But if you call me on air, Chris, that doesn't work very well.
Right, exactly. We started the show, and somebody who's been on the show calls him, and the way we're like, "Hey, what's going on?"
Exactly.
Right, but the answer was, "Could I text you?" Absolutely.
Certainly.
At the break, right? Within 5 minutes, 93% of them will be read.
Right.
So let's get them onto that, but don't break the barrier.
So we're going to talk to Joe more about this when we come back, because it's fascinating things how we try to convert people to our paradigm, but we want their money. Think about that concept. We're going to talk more with Joe Ingram when we come back. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. We will also chat, is carrying credit card balances a good strategy to increase your FICO scores? And what happened to those multiple offers bidding wars in real estate? All that and more. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Or RonSiegelRadio.com. Connect with us. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. On Twitter, @Ron Siegel. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel 1, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Siegel Lending Team offers you buying power. Let's say you can afford a monthly mortgage payment, including principal and interest, of around $1,900. With today's rate on a 30-year fixed mortgage of 3.75%, APR 3.85%, that payment could support a $416,000 mortgage. But if you wait and rates tick up to around 6.5%, which is roughly the average home mortgage rate over the past 30 years, that same $1,900 mortgage payment, including principal and interest, may only be able to support a $314,000 mortgage. That's over $100,000 worth of home you're missing out on by waiting. That's buying power. All you need to do to get started is reach out to the Siegel Lending Team at 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Payment example excludes taxes and insurance. Call us for full details, 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990 or SiegelLendingTeam.com. Equal housing lender, licensed under NMLS number 217037.
Are you purchasing or own a luxury home? If you're like so many others, your home is your largest asset and the mortgage is your largest debt. The Siegel Lending Team has some amazing financing opportunities right now. Jumbo loans up to $2 million, 30-year rates below 4%, 15-year rates near 3.5%, and if you can believe it, 7-year interest-only hybrids in low 3s. The Siegel Lending Team has all the options for your jumbo or second home loan requirements. Take advantage of them while you can. To learn more about all the other financing products available from the Siegel Lending Team, call 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Again, call 1-800-306-1990. Rates subject to change without notice. Licensed by NMLS ID 217037 and 145502. Equal housing lender.
Homeowners that are 62 and older are about to find out a great way to live a better retirement. It's called a reverse mortgage, and SLT can help you learn more. Call the Siegel Lending Team at 800-306-1990 right now to receive your free booklet with no obligation. It answers questions like how a reverse mortgage works, how much you qualify for, the ways to receive your money, and more. When you call the experts at Siegel Lending Team today, you'll learn the benefits of a government-insured reverse mortgage, how it will eliminate your monthly mortgage payments, and give you tax-free cash from the equity in your home. Here's the best part. You still own your home. Now is the best time to take control of your retirement. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990 to get your free brochure. Call today or visit our website at SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Or simply call 800-306-1990.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message. I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990, the real-time real estate segment today, being brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Text NEST, N-E-S-T, to 79564. Find your dream home before someone else does. NEST, N-E-S-T, 79564. What's going on with bidding wars in real estate? In a strong seller's market like the one we've experienced over the past few years, bidding wars are common and expected. This makes sense. A seller's market is defined as a market in which the inventory of homes for sale cannot satisfy the number of buyers who want to purchase a home. According to a Cambridge English dictionary, does anybody use a regular dictionary anymore? Bidding wars occur when two or more parties repeatedly outbid each other as they compete to purchase something, obviously in our case, a home. In some areas of the country, first-time buyers have been met with fierce competition throughout their experience. Some have been outbid multiple times before finally winning a bid on a home to call their own. According to the latest existing home sales report from the National Association of Realtors, there are currently 3.7 months supply of homes for sale. With the current number of houses listed for sale and the level of demand from buyers, this means it would take 3.7 months for all homes listed to sell if no additional listings came to market, and supply number under 6 months supply is considered a seller's market. According to NAR, the housing market hasn't had a 6-month supply of homes for sale since August 2012. The good news, a recent report shows the percentage of houses sold, including a bidding war before settling on a final price, decreased from 53% in January 2018 to 13% this year. One reason for the decline is the influx of homes being listed for sale. Even though the month supply number is not increasing, the number of homes for sale is. I shared a chart earlier with the year-over-year change in the inventory numbers. Hey, what about creating a bidding war? How do you create the bidding war to get the bidders to bring the price up? Well, that means you start with a more aggressive price. It's not that difficult, but a lot of people say, well, I want to start high and come down. Well, why not start low and get a bidding war going and go up? It can be done. It's not that difficult, and you end up making more money in the long run by going up than by bringing your price down. That is the real-time real estate segment, again, brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Text NEST, N-E-S-T, to 795-64. Find that dream home before someone else does. We are chatting this morning. Joe Ingram is in the house. Ingram Automotive. Ingram Interactive. I guess we got to talk to each other, right?
Right.
Interactive.
Yes. I'm just looking down. I don't want to make eye contact.
I'm having trouble interacting with my notes here. So here's the issue, Joe, is I see this all the time because obviously leading a lending company, I talk to people more often than anything because of being on radio. It's a one-way conversation. What do you see as the biggest failure trying to communicate with a prospect, though?
So I'll tell you, I mean, besides even when you're with me, it's a one-way conversation.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't get to talk much, so I'm glad. Yeah.
Sometimes that's good.
Yes. What I find the biggest issue people have, so as human beings, when we're face-to-face, we communicate with body language, tone and inflection, and words.
Okay.
And our biggest communicators are body language.
Sure.
Okay. Now, I have been trained my whole life to use the words that require my body language to explain them.
Use the words. Okay.
Every word that I'm using requires my body language because that's how I communicate.
Okay.
Now I turn around and I'm going to shift to email, or I'm going to shift to a phone call. And all of a sudden I'm using words that require body language to get my message across so that somebody can understand if I'm being sarcastic or I'm being other things. They have to look at me to see these things. So when I shift mediums to something that takes away my body language, I end up using the wrong words and I don't get the response that I need.
You don't get the result that you were hoping for.
Right. I'm trying to convert. And I'm like, you don't understand. I'm great face-to-face. I know, but when you speak face-to-face over the phone...
Right, it's kind of difficult.
Yeah, there's going to be so much lost in translation.
Sure.
Okay, and then the worst part is, via text or email, who gets to assign the tone of the message? The person reading it.
Right.
Okay, so if
that's a big problem with. I mean, that's why there's so many fights on over text messages.
Absolutely.
Is because I think that I said, Joe, you're a nice guy, and you think I said I was being sarcastic. Joe, you're a nice guy. Jeez.
I always tell people when I train them, I say, look, if your spouse and you have an argument before you leave the house, an hour later your spouse texts you with "Have a great day," how did they actually say it?
Right.
You're sitting there going, "Have a great day." You're like, "Wow, what is that?"
Yeah, exactly.
And in turn, we don't know that's what's there. But I'm dealing with people that are selling products that are over $150,000 that are texting customers with emojis, and I'm like, "What are you doing? Are you a 12-year-old little girl?"
So that's a fascinating conversation because we've found in a lot of our testing on real estate promotions that the more emojis there are, the better the response is.
Is it a quality response?
That's a good question.
Right? I can force engagement. I can send a meme out to somebody in texting and get a great response, right? I worked as an internet director at a dealership, and I would send out newsletters, and the newsletters would be, this is a visual representation of how many sugar cubes are in each kind of drink. And I used to get a huge response from people going, wow, that's great information, sold me 0 cars.
I got you, okay.
Okay, and so there is engagement, but at $100,000, are you going to be the one that's going, oh, I love the little heart eye emoji that you sent to me? No, I'm trying to respect you as a professional. So you're going to have to act like a professional.
Okay, that's fascinating because, like I say, in a lot of the things that we're seeing in the real estate world, and it's not the heart emoji that we're sending out. So it's like a little fire stick or a picture of a house, not by itself,
right?
But as part of the
that's helping to clarify a message.
Okay,
which is fine. It's when you start doing the laugh out louds and the little cutesy things are what's going to totally derail your conversation.
And the question I would pose to you, because you're the expert, I'm just the radio guy. Mm-hmm. So I would have thought that if I send out a smiley emoji next to your reference earlier that I'm doing great, and I put a smiley face next to it, well, that can kind of show what my emotion was toward that message, as opposed to just great, or the sarcasm that we were talking about a minute ago.
It would, except I'm dealing with a prospect.
Okay.
Right? So with somebody that I've already established a face-to-face relationship,
Then
the
that's
emoji
okay.
will add to it because they'll
okay.
still see it as me.
Gotcha.
That's writing it. But if I have a client that I'm sending off these messages to, one of the things we were talking earlier on the break was that if you're going to write an email the way you speak, okay, understand that only works for the people that know you face to face.
Sure.
Because they can hear you as you're talking.
Right.
The client that's never heard you needs to have a more professional and a better set of words to deliver the message. So remember, every time we talk to a customer, whether email, text, or over the phone, I'm putting pictures in your head.
Sure.
Right? I'm creating the images. So we always say, are you using the right language to put the right picture in somebody's head? I had one person that said, once you get here, you have to understand, once you're here, then I can go twist my sales manager's arm off to make sure you get the deal you want. And I'm like, whoa, that is such a bad picture.
Right.
For any, I don't want to come there now. I don't want to come meet with you because I see somebody
you're a guy that's going to beat up somebody.
You're going to rip somebody's arm out of the socket.
Right.
That's so not what I'm looking for. Where what you want to do is build the right verbiage that's there. And face to face, you can tell he was joking because he was smiling and things. But over the phone or a text message, that's a pretty brutal image in someone's head.
That's a fascinating concept that you're bringing out there because it makes so much sense. I'm just thinking, and I'm sure you're doing the same thing. You're thinking back to the last conversation you might have had with somebody or a sales call that you got, especially as a business owner. I had a sales call from one of the major review sites. Everybody knows the name, and I won't say Yelp at all, but everybody knows the name, right?
Right.
And,
or Jelp.
Yeah, and they wanted to sell me on promoting the mortgage company. And every fifth word the girl used was, yeah, like.
Wow.
Joe, yeah, like, we get a lot of referrals, yeah, like, and there's about 7,000 people looking, yeah, like, for mortgages in Aliso Viejo, yeah, like, and I'm like, holy cow, where am I going with this? And I couldn't wait to get off the phone.
Absolutely. And that would have been a little smiley emoji if she was texting you
right.
every time, right?
Exactly.
And so you go, no, you want my money, right? Or I want your money, and I'm going to go put out there a lackluster performance to earn the money.
Right.
And so you need to, again, be a master of your craft, but understand that you have to shift gears depending on where you're at. Face to face, I have a lot more freedom. My words only matter 7% of the time.
Really?
Yeah. So face-to-face communication, body language communicates 55% of what we're doing. Okay. And so I tell people, I can prove it to you. If you don't speak Korean, go on to television, flip through the cable channel, get to the Korean soap opera. The words mean nothing to you.
Sure.
But you can watch it and you can say, I know who's mad at who. I know who loves who, right?
Yeah.
You know the evil person because they always stop at the door before they walk out and look back at the room, okay? But when you stop and realize, now if you pressed mute, now you took away tone and inflection, which is 38% of our communication. Now you're just watching. Can you tell who loves who? Who hates who? Right. All of
depends on the scenes.
Yes. Well, again, if the person with the knife cutting the other one hates the other one.
Exactly.
Okay.
They don't like each other.
Yes, and that's when you stop and realize that I'm using the wrong medium, the wrong messaging in the wrong medium. Which is why when I say, I come back and go, can we please? One of the things I had was an actual salesperson communicating to a customer on a car. And said, oh, look, you see, pops the hood, says, you see these crumple zones here? This is designed to absorb the impact of an accident.
And you're saying that to a new mom, right?
And he's saying exactly. Well, the worst part, it's a couple standing there, and he goes, and you see these big hooks? These big hooks are designed to force the hood to bend so it doesn't slice your head off going through the windshield.
Wow, isn't that a great visual?
Isn't that the visual you want to say? Right? And then, of course, they go into the back, and they pop open the trunk, and what did they say? They're copying De Niro, and they're over there going, you see that right there? You could fit like 4 dead bodies in there. Right? And you go, wow, what are you doing? And then you turn around and go, now the customer goes, I don't want to test drive the vehicle.
I wonder why.
Yeah, I'm like, it's a deathmobile. Why would I ever get into a deathmobile?
Yeah, nobody really liked Volvos, but everyone bought them because their advertising was, we're safe.
We're safe, okay?
Right?
Number one brand loyalty is
Right.
Volvo, because it's like, okay, great. That's it. They built the message right, and that's what they're doing.
Whether it's true or not. We're going to talk more with Joe Ingram when we come back. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. How do you make all the things, or take all the things that Joe's telling us and implement them? How do we get them to work for you, for your business? That's what we're going to talk about when we come back. And also, is carrying credit card balances a good strategy to increase your FICO score? All that and more. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Connect with us. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. On Twitter, @Ron Siegel. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area-trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Most businesses struggle to get the online reviews they need to get a competitive edge over their competition. Rex is a brand new technology that uses text messages to direct happy clients to your online review sites, Zillow, Google, Facebook, and Yelp, and unhappy clients to a private survey, so businesses can win more customers. Try Rex today by going to www.meetrex.com. Are you currently renting a home? Do you like paying someone else's mortgage payment? Why not explore the options to purchase your own home? Can you imagine a 30-year fixed-rate loan below 4.25% APR? This means with $10,500, you can purchase a $295,000 home and have a principal and interest payment of about $1,400 per month. What are you paying in rent? Does your family deserve the opportunity to take advantage of the current market? To learn more about these exciting opportunities, the Siegel Lending Team is standing by to speak with you. Call now, 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Or 1-800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by NMLS ID 217037 and 145502. Equal housing lender. Not endorsed or sponsored by any government agency.
Do you have a goal of mortgage-free home ownership? What if your home was valued at $500,000? Are you aware that a free and clear home could be costing you $2,500 every month, $30,000 per year? The mortgage planners at the Siegel Lending Team would like to show you how you can own your home, generate tax-free income, and accumulate family wealth. You simply need to call the Ron Siegel Team at 1-800-306-1990. That is 1-800-306-1990. By sending the team a copy of your most recent mortgage statement, the team will send you a no-obligation real estate plan. You be the judge if this is right for your family. Again, all you have to do is send the team a copy of your mortgage statement by email to reap@ronsiegelradio.com or call today. Ron Siegel, 1-800-306-1990. That is 1-800-306-1990.
Rate subject to change and without notice. Licensed by the California DOC and BRE NMLS 217037 and 145502 and Cal BRE 0186945 and 1866775.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Hey, good morning, Zeb, Mitchell. Kathy is on the line with us today. Glad to see you. Jay's with us. Alex is here in the house. Dave, Robert, glad to see you. Jay, I got to get a hold of you. We got to chat today, buddy. We're going to get some stuff going on there as well. Maybe your Credit Matters segment today being brought to you by our friends at Blue Water Credit. When you need some help with the credit score, Blue Water is the only one that I recommend. Is carrying credit card balance is a good strategy to increase your FICO scores, not your FICO score. That would be Credit Karma, Credit Sesame. Those are called FICO scores. Most of your credit card companies, those are FICO scores. We deal in FICO scores. You have to pay for that from the Fair Isaac Corporation. There is a lot of misinformation out there about the best strategies you can take to increase your FICO score. For example, The recommendation of closing down credit card accounts will increase your scores, or that an individual should never use credit if they want a higher score. You know the answer to that one. Not true. Another common misunderstanding is that making your minimum monthly payment on time and carrying balances from month to month on your credit card is a good idea if you're looking to build up your credit history and FICO scores. The underlying thinking seems to be that doing this, you are demonstrating the ability to use your credit and pay on time. If you think this is the case, you're definitely not alone. We've got some articles on that we've shared many times. But the idea here is keep those scores below the percentages that the FICO algorithm, or that we believe the FICO algorithm wants. Anybody that tells you they know the FICO algorithm, hey, they're wrong, because nobody knows the FICO algorithm. They keep that very, very tightly guarded. Now, if you go to myfico.com, which I have done, and you pay for the service, which I do, you can actually see when your credit score changes by 1 point. You'll see that, something, I went below 10% on this credit card when they reported. They only report once a month. Well, when they reported I was below 10% utilization, my score went up. I went over 30%, my score went down. Guess what? Now I know that there's a 30% threshold right there. When you're nerdy like me and you need to know these things, you play with the scores so you see what happens on all of them. That is the Your Credit Matters segment, again brought to you by Credit Sanitizer. It's Blue Water Credit. There actually, we have that link for both of them. Blue Water Credit. They are the one. So here is the conversation we are going to continue. I'm going to actually see if I can get the name of his company correct. We did get that new DBA for you, Joe. Yes. So Joe Ingram's in the house. Ingram Interactive. BDC is one of the aliases. Dr. Bacon is another alias.
True.
Sales Genius, I don't know about that one. I do know that he's known at Starbucks worldwide.
That's true.
Right?
It's Joe Almighty. ALLMYTEA. Yes. So
there you go. So that's funny.
It's great watching them say it out loud because they go Joe Almighty and then they stop going. I get it, Joe Almighty. That's me.
There you go. That's a good. I like that one, Joe.
Yes.
Good stuff. So we've been chatting this morning about how to convert. Everybody's looking. If you're in a sales business, what is it that every salesperson needs, unless you're ready to retire? You need more leads. Mm-hmm. And we're talking to Joe Ingram today. The issues of the world, right? I mean, everybody, if you're watching on RonSiegelRadio.tv, I'm waving my phone here. Everybody's got one, right? We text more than we talk. Some of us, I talk for an hour a day, and then I'm done by about 10:05. I don't want to talk anymore.
Right. You've used your 10,000 words
exactly.
for the day, right?
I get home and my wife wants to talk, and I'm in trouble, right?
Right.
Well, that's a different story.
Well, women speak on average 25,000 words a day. Men speak 10,000 words a day. So remember, when you get home, she's still got another 15,000 to go.
And all I want to say is I'm hungry.
Right. Yeah.
Exactly.
You just want to grunt and grab a plate of food. That's
there you
it.
go.
Yeah.
So we've been talking this morning about talking to people where they are, and over the years, you and I have talked a lot about the idea that we need to get people to know us, to like us, and to trust us.
Yep.
Joe takes that in a 4-step process: like, listen, and believe.
Then you can
then buy.
Yep.
Right. So it's basically the same concept.
Absolutely.
It's all in this. It's just different words, but really the same thing. And the fact here that you brought up, and it's just fascinating to me, is how we want somebody to buy from us. Right. We want their hard-earned money.
Absolutely.
For a house, for a car, for a dress, for a program, whatever it is you do.
Yep.
Yet, instead of us being accommodative and saying, something, Chris just texted me, so I'm texting him back. I'm going to say, well, I want to wait until 11 o'clock today when it's not convenient for Chris.
Right.
And I'm going to call him.
Yes. And
Why would we do that?
invade his day.
Right.
Right. And so I've already given it to you. Now I'll say that if you can get somebody on the phone, your text message could be, sorry, I'm currently occupied. Can I call you around 11? And get a permission back to say, can I step out of the medium we're on to the other? And then you'll get somebody come back and go, no, I just prefer to text.
Will people do that, or will they just go blank on you?
It depends on the individual, because remember, we haven't built a like yet.
There's no reason to communicate.
And again, you're paying for leads. I just posted this the other day on my Instagram. I said, stop throwing more into the top of the funnel, right? If your sales process is broken.
Right.
Right? So you just keep dumping in going, well, if I'm only going to convert at 2%, if I'm going to convert at 2%, then I need to throw more in there. My answer is no, convert at 4, 5, 6, 12%.
But most people don't know how to, Joe.
That's what I'm here for.
Right.
That's why they call me the sales genius, right?
You know,
or I call myself the sales genius.
But that's the real thing is there's only two ways to really increase the sales then.
Yeah.
Right? One way is to increase your conversion.
Mm-hmm.
And the other way is to increase the number going into the process.
Right. You throw more into the hopper, you'll get more out. But there's still so much work. And I'll tell you, a lot of times, it's because we're putting customers off. I'll tell you that this morning we talked about statistics. Somebody said, hey, I got a realtor to sell my house. Well, how'd you find him? Well, I called 7 and only 1 called me back.
Right.
Right? And you're like, ouch, how is that possible? I'll tell you that in the automotive space, 90% of all people that leave their name and number with a salesperson will not get a call back. And we're all scared that if I give my name and number, I'm going to get blown up and stalked for life. On your show, one day you said, get a Google Voice number so that these people can't stalk you. I'm like, trust me, they're not going
they're not
to.
stalking you.
Right? And so I go into these dealerships and I teach them how to properly follow up with somebody and then how to convert them into somebody that can actually purchase.
So what Joe's really talking about here, what I'm hearing at least, is you got to have a process.
Absolutely.
Right? There's so many people that I talk to and I do lunch and learns and seminars all the time. And they say, well, Ron, I got like 11 messages from you to confirm that we were going to be here today.
Absolutely.
And I said, okay, well, did you forget? No, I didn't forget. I knew that we were going to be here today, right?
Right.
And it's all done by design.
Yeah.
Because if I leave it to perchance or potential or possible, it's what you just said.
Yeah. Well,
Nothing.
Stop and understand. So remember, owning a house is a great experience.
Right.
Buying a house isn't perceived as a great experience.
No.
Buying a car, people rank it between getting a root canal and being sued. Because, and they'd rather get a root canal because the dentist at least gives you anesthesia.
Sure.
Right? But as a car salesperson, I can't do that for you. It's illegal. And so, but when you stop and realize people view sales as a bad thing. Going through a sales process is a bad thing. Think about this. I'll convert it over to the dentist. How often does the dentist confirm with you that you're coming in?
Sure.
Because it's not a pleasant experience most of the time.
Exactly.
And so I have to continually follow up with you. I have to continuously go after it. But I will tell you, one of the biggest killers of your business is how you answer the telephone. When you do get somebody to call you, right, and they call you, and my question, so we talked earlier, Ron, give me a big sale that you've made in real estate, right? Value, dollar value.
1.4 million.
1.4 million. So did you answer the phone when somebody called you at a $1.4 million worthy level?
Sure.
Right? And then I know that in automotive space, the average new car cost is $28,000. So I go in and teach these dealerships, did you answer the phone with a $28,000 effort?
Sure.
Okay.
Or did you just take that effort and say, yeah, I got the phone's ringing, I better answer it again?
Everybody picks up the phone as if it's their 100th phone call. Call your cell phone provider. How excited are they to answer the phone?
Sure.
Okay. I called my cable company one time, and the person says, "Thank you for calling, blah, 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 blah. This is Allison speaking. What can I do for you today?" I said, "Wow, Allison, that was great tone and inflection. I teach on this." And she goes, "Yeah, they sent us to school for like 2 weeks on how to learn." And I was like, "Whoa, go back, right?" And I was like, "What?" And then she got back on her script, and she's like, "And how can I be of assistance?" And I was like, "Oh, stay there. Please stay there, because the real you," right? And
I'm not happy with the real you.
Right. And so over the phone, right, my answer is very simple. In all of my sales processes I teach, it's not about you. It's about the customer, the prospect. Be who the prospect needs you to be.
That's amazing. That's a fascinating point. We got to leave it right there. It's not about you. Be about the prospect. If you want more information, Joe Ingram, I'll have that for you at any time. Give me a call. But I do ask one favor of you. Set that first radio preset button to come back here every day to join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to John, who's engineering us today. And, of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions to meet any of our guests, you want to meet Joe Ingram, give me a call at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We will talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.